Hello everyone, welcome to a new episode of Explore and Engage with Anam. My friends, Chicago's Mayor, Brandon Johnson, has a new plan to deal with the influx of migrants in the city. And that's what I'm going to be talking about in today's episode. Before that, let's quickly review a few things. As I said before, the liberal politicians are always coming up with plans. They come up with a plan, and when that plan fails, they come up with another plan. And when that plan also fails, they come up with a third plan. And so it's always plans after plans after plans. And that's exactly what's going on in the city of Chicago. First, the liberal politicians wanted Chicago to be a sanctuary city. They supported an administration, which is the Biden administration, that wanted an open border. That was the position, that was the plan. The Biden administration wanted an open border, and the Chicago liberal politicians supported the Biden administration. And then the migrants started pouring in. But the burden was on the southern border states. The border states were facing the problems. But then Greg Abbott started sending the migrants to sanctuary cities like Chicago and New York. Then the liberals started experiencing reality. The liberals started realizing that it's easy to make promises of sanctuary, but it's very difficult to keep those promises. And then the next plan was to forget the American homeless. The liberal politicians are no longer talking about the American homeless, and instead they are focusing on the undocumented immigrants. They are providing services to the migrants. For years, the liberal politicians pretended to be friends of the homeless people in America, homeless Americans, and yet they never solved the homelessness problem. Some of the largest population of homeless Americans are in liberal states like New York and California. The problem was not solved. Migrants started pouring in, and cities like New York City and Chicago saw a surge in the number of migrants. Resources were stretched thin. Many Americans living in Chicago voiced their strong opposition. For example, many people in Chicago were very upset when the city tried to build a migrant tent camp in Brighton Park. The plan to build a migrant tent camp in Brighton Park failed. And then, as more migrants kept pouring in, the left-wing politicians realized that they will have to try to prevent the migrant buses from arriving. And so, the Chicago liberals came up with rules for migrant buses. The city impounded migrant buses, but that did not prevent the migrants from arriving in Chicago. Mayor Brandon Johnson's plans kept failing. Migrants from the southern border were being dropped off in suburbs around Chicago, and then those migrants made their way into the city of Chicago. The influx of migrants did not stop. Some big city mayors, including Mayor Brandon Johnson of Chicago and Mayor Eric Adams of New York City, also asked the Biden administration for billions of dollars to help address the surge in the number of migrants. the problems continued, and the problems still continue. And so now, Mayor Brandon Johnson has a new plan because all his previous plans failed. Reportedly, Mayor Brandon Johnson is looking for increased spending and increased money for shelter services. Reportedly, the Chicago mayor's plan includes relying on state and federal resources. Also, reportedly, no new shelter beds will be provided. So what's going to happen? Based on the reports I saw, the plan is to fill the beds as migrants exit. So no new beds, but as the migrants exit the shelter, the vacant beds will be filled. Also, reportedly, the Chicago mayor's new plan includes focusing on getting work permits for the migrants. Here's what I found out about Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson's new plan, and I learned these, I found the information from news reports. Now, will this plan succeed in solving the crisis in Chicago? I don't think so. The main problem remains, that is, Chicago continues to be a sanctuary city. And also, the main problem at the southern border continues, as the border is still wide open and foreign nationals are pouring into the country by crossing the southern border. So the pattern continues. Liberal politicians are coming up with plans after plans, but no plan has been successful. My friends, share with me your thoughts. Go to tossifanam.net, send me a message, let me know what you think. Share with me your views, your thoughts, your opinions about Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson's new plan. I look forward to hearing from you. Once again, thank you for continuing to listen to my podcast, and I hope to be back again soon with a new episode.